The killing of Banko Brown by a Walgreens security guard led to a rallying cry from protesters. No one deserves to die for shoplifting. But for Banko's family, it was a loss they felt deeply in two ways. First, that they would never see Banko again. And second, it felt like their family would never see justice either after the DA decided not to charge the guard who shot Banko. This video of Brown was released by District Attorney Brooke Jenkins once she declined to charge security guard Michael Earl Wayne Anthony for murder or for manslaughter. Anthony told investigators he felt his life was in jeopardy at the time. Protesters are now demanding that the state attorney general and the Department of Justice do what Jenkins would not do, charge that security guard. And another voice added to that outcry tonight, Banko Brown's father, side by side with his attorney, civil rights lawyer John Burris. Reed Cowan here with us tonight on the 11 o'clock news. Reed, you were the first to get this exclusive sit-down interview with Mr. Brown. There's a lot to unpack here,
right.
A lot contained in your story, I know. And I know that first viewers are about to hear that Banko Brown actually lived long enough to ask police to call his father.
One of the many very human revelations from my interview with this man. You know, Banko Brown's last moments, according to his father, it really included this moment. He was able to tell police his dad's name and how to find his dad. But by the time police called Terry Brown, Banko was dead. Now, before we continue, there's something that's very important to really frame this story, that Terry Brown is going to refer to Banko as his daughter, China Brown. Mr. Brown says while he supported Banko's gender transition and name change, Banko will always be his little girl. Listen.
It's the interview Terry Brown did not want to do. Reliving moments that came the day a Walgreens security guard fired a fatal shot as Banko Brown backed out of the store.
Just getting that news that morning, that on the 28th, that Friday morning, just changed my whole world. The examiner called me, told me that they had my daughter, China Brown.
Brown was dead. Terry Brown learning death did not come before Banko was able to tell police where to find him.
She said her name, told the police her name, and gave me your phone number. So I'm like, I knew it was her. And I just broke down. And it was just the worst day of my life to hear that. I was screaming, yelling, no, this can't be true. And it took like about 20 to 25 minutes for me to recover.
Brown waited days as leaders and activists demanded District Attorney Brooke Jenkins release the surveillance video. When Jenkins relented and released, the images of Banko Brown in what appears to be a chokehold before the fatal shot went viral.
Have you seen the surveillance video?
No.
Tell me why you've chosen not to see it.
Because I don't want that memory in my head. He did her wrong. He did her wrong. Like, they said he was choking her, throwing her around like a rag dog. They said the way the video is, like an old lynching or something. Like he beat her, then shot her. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still like, I don't understand it.
If you had that power, where would you hit pause? Where would you hit stop? And what would you say?
Right at this door. Right at the door. Like right when he right there like that, stop.
Terry Brown knows of the criticisms about Banko and the problems of theft plaguing the Bay Area. Grab and run crime is real where we live, but he says
that was too far. That went too far. You using force over snacks? Something that's not even $10? You using deadly force? No, I don't support that. Little teenagers, they go in the stores and take stuff. Put it in their pocket. Like, no, does that mean you can go in the store and they could just, see a little kid there and snatch him up like that and choke him out? No, that's not right. That's not right. Grown or little, no. No, I don't support that.
Why did it happen to Banko?
I don't know. It might have been because of the gender. It might be because they had an altercation before. We don't know. I wish I did know, but I don't know. I can't answer that.
A lot of emotions there, certainly a lot to deal with for the rest of his life, for sure. So, Reed, the district attorney's report that she put out gives us some insight into why the security guard may have acted the way he did in that moment.
Yeah, and, you know, it is smack dab in the middle of a 25-page report that details her decision to not charge the guard. And there are details that are in this directive from the security firm KGPS that we acquired. Look at this. It says that on April 27th, which, by the way, is the day that Banko Brown died, there was an abrupt policy change directing guards to, quote, engage in hands-on recovery of merchandise and actively work to retrieve or recover any items or stolen items once it was clear that the individual intended to leave the store without paying. Now, San Francisco Supervisor Dean Preston just introduced new legislation that would ban armed security guards from drawing their weapons to protect property. Again, Sarah, it is very important to note in this case that the guard told police that he drew his weapon because he felt somehow personally threatened. And then DA Brooke Jenkins added that the evidence just isn't there to prove otherwise from what the guard said. We also need to mention that right after we finished this interview, it was very important this afternoon that we called the DA's office to give Jenkins a chance to respond, but we were told Jenkins is wrapped up right now prepping for another major case that is set to begin tomorrow morning.
All right, Reed, thank you for doing that interview today and bringing us that story. We really appreciate all of your work there. Now, Police Chief Bill Scott faced questions about this very case today during a police commission meeting. He said the DA's report to police was missing a recommendation about whether or not to file charges against the guard.
In this particular one, to my knowledge, there was no recommendation of charges. Does that ever happen? Typically, it doesn't happen very often. To my knowledge, there was not any recommendations or non-recommendations to charge. The case was presented.
Civil rights attorney John Burris, who you saw in that interview with Reed, told CNN he is moving forward with filing a lawsuit in this case very soon.